Hello viewers and welcome to part 4 of our Autosport International coverage. Now, we've seen the F1 cars, we've seen the Sir Jackie Stewart display and some of the simulators. Now it's time for the general show report, everything the show had to offer. Let's take a look. So it's the main show report then. Autosport International, we've seen obviously the F1 cars and we've seen the Sir Jackie Stewart display and we've seen the simulations. But here we are, this is the real show now. You can see here an old John Surtees car. Again, nice to get in close and see these cars, you know, old cars from all eras. I love to see them. I love to see the interiors, what the drivers had to cope with, the bodywork, to the new, from the old to the new. And the Nissan Delta Wing with its matte black paint job. Very unusual design. Again, more like an aircraft than a race car. Its design still isn't fully proven in many respects, but especially after the flip at Road Atlanta a little while ago. And to Reliant Regal, it has to be said, every type of two wheels or even of 4 wheels or even 3 wheels on display. I had to film that for you guys, just an unusual one. To what you need in the world of racing. Here we have the Cobra seats. So if you need your racing wheels, your overalls, your roll cages, whatever you need, it was on display. And the Cobra seats, as ever, very impressive. Lots of sim racers looking at those for their racing chairs, and you can see those nice carbon fibre backs as well. Very comfortable, very body hugging. To buying your trophies if you're having a tournament. It's everything that you need in the world of motor racing is under this roof. And as you can see, these guys make many of the trophies for the major races and events. The McLaren overalls on display, along with, as you can see in the background there, the different helmets and overalls and everything else. To stuff made with car parts, and you can see these incredible creations here, which are all made from scrap metal, obviously creating the Transformers here. Bumblebee, fantastic. These are, quite frankly, the best Transformers models I've ever seen, and they're all made out of car parts. You can see there the Alien table. Very impressive, I have to say. I love to see the creativity and the workmanship, as well as the passion for the aliens, the predators, the sci-fi. There is also that of using scrap metal and creating those. You see that table there with the Predator holding up. Fantastic, the glass shelves of the Predator and Alien. And if you recognise the parts, let us know. And again, to 2 other 4-wheeled creations, lowriders there as well. To some of these older cars, such as this Jaguar. Again, I like to see some of these old cars. They had such a passion and a personality to them. It wasn't all just about, you know, performance. It was about a living room on wheels, and a very different driving experience to what people expect today. To people today want to rush from A to B. These cars weren't all about rushing. They were about enjoying the drive and the personality that your car, such as the Mini there, conveyed as well as incorporating some excellent performance, of course, just down to its size. So we see a whole variety of cars here, and we see a British touring car here as well, driven by John Cleland. And there we go, if we just zoom in there. In 1995, a highlight era. It has to be said, the 90s were a fantastic era for British touring cars. The era of Alan Menu and Derek Warwick and all these guys. Great battling, seeing those guys at the time. And again, there was a mention, I think, by Tiffany Dell of the Nigel Mansell incident. I'm sure many of you saw that. Rainy Donington. We all wanted Nigel to come and win, and he got taken out. And he felt there was a bit of a conspiracy against him by the other drivers. To be fair, I know that many people poke at Nigel for things like that, but I did feel that he'd got up the other noses of the drivers as the big I am, and they sort of wanted to put him in his place. To the Santa Pod Raceway. Again, if you've been to Santa Pod drag strip, you can take your car there. It's called Run What You Brung, if you ever go along there. Just basically, it depends on how powerful your car is to how exciting the actual acceleration is. To the dragsters that are on display, you can see their big things they are with the front downforce. To the famous faces of motor racing, were all on display, and Sir Jackie Stewart, and obviously we had presenter Jake Humphrey, and we had Martin Brundle here, John Surtees on display. You know, was on there talking about his career. To the launch of the Formula 4, I don't know much about this at the moment, so it's something I'm going to research into. This was taking place at the time, was a hive of activity as people got their first look, tactile feel of the car it really was open for people to get stuck in, have a look, have a rummage around. And I did my best to try getting in there. The lighting in there wasn't what I would have liked to have filmed some of this for you guys, but it was nice to get in close. An impressive steering wheel as well, display there. Very nice. So it's interesting how these cars are developing all the time, and they're trying to bring costs down of motorsport, make it more accessible to people, so that we're still getting good talent through the system. And the money behind motorsport is certainly an issue. Besides that, there's the Piston Head show, which shows many of the greatest sports cars from around the world. It's just a car love show, and here you see this awesome TVR Speed 12 and lots of examples of fantastic automotive cars from around a range of sort of disciplines and eras and everything else here. Lots of Porsches on display, every type of Porsche. If you're a Porsche fan, again, some wonderful stands here. This was the official Porsche stand, so I literally just had to walk around. There were so many cars. This video could be 2 hours long, just showing you different cars. There's just so much on display. It was absolutely fantastic. And so I just took a little wander here just to look at them all, get a few of those in shot. Here at the Porsche Club, fantastic. A really nice selection on display at the Piston Heads, and just a quick browse around the Piston Heads hall. This is hall one of several. The show is absolutely vast, I can tell you. Just walking around, you could walk around for an hour and see next to nothing. This was a nice Merc here that I saw again with the paint job. Fantastic, nice to see these paint jobs on the cars. You need to be able to pay to upkeep them, don't you? Because obviously that anything happens to them, cleaning them, everything else, absolute nightmare. And there we see Tiff Needell's. There is Lotus Formula Ford. This is the Lotus that he talked to me about a couple of years ago when I interviewed him, and this gave him his opportunity in racing. Obviously he totaled it in 9 races, but he did a good job and enough so that he could get another car, and that was what he needed to get started. So that's a Formula Ford there, an old Formula Ford with its old suspension and everything else, very much like an old race car, it has to be said. And we were looking at the 60s race cars in the Sir Jackie Stewart piece. But that's it from the Autosport show, and I hope you've enjoyed that coverage. So that was a roundup, merely a glimpse of what was on display at the show. It has to be said, it was very impressive indeed. And certainly if you're a motorsport fan, you have to get along there. There's so much to see, so much to do. Everything you need in the world of motorsport is there. And certainly it's something that for me is top of the calendar. Autosport International really does blow my mind. It's so huge. You need about 2 days there. But I hope you've enjoyed this coverage, and as ever, there'll be more from me very soon.